from our left to right, and they're all white uniforms. Here's the kick. Kicks it about the middle of the field. Looks like 19, that's Cody Ferrante. He's going to run up the middle. He's got some room. He's got a couple of blockers, cuts to his left, breaks a couple of tackles, uses his speed. There he goes! Touchdown, Calaveras!
What a great way to start the homecoming game, to get the crowd into it immediately.
What a play. The first time he touches the ball, he takes it to the house for 6 points. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Football with Coach Val. I'm your host, Gil Valtierra, the voice of Calaveras football. It's game day, second week. It's time to go. It is go time. Are you ready to go? I'm ready to go. Speaking of ready to go, our special guest in the studio, head varsity football coach at Calaveras High, Coach Manny Mossa. Coach, no pause this week. They're ready.
Yeah, even after a loss.
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit here. Let's go over the results from last week. We always start off the program with going over the Calaveras Junior Redhawk program. They were up this past Saturday up at Sonora High School. The junior novice team started the day off on the right foot. Congratulations to them. They were victorious 27-6 over Sonora. Some highlights of that game: Jackson Paletti had a tackle. Colton Hughes had 3 tackles. Carter Pettijohn had 2 tackles, also carried the ball twice for 6 yards. Weston Stouty had 5 tackles, 1 carry for 15 yards. Grayson Gore had 2 tackles and 4 carries for 19 yards. Nixon Adams had 4 tackles, a carry for 33 yards and a touchdown, and also added an onside recovery. Nice job, Nixon Adams. And then, Coach, maybe you ought to get number 2 the ball a little bit more. I like this average here. Tucker Mills, 10 tackles and had 4 carries for 170 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I double-checked and triple-checked. That's not a typo. Those are the yardage. Those were the touchdowns. So congratulations, Tucker Mills. Congratulations to head coach Greg Mills and the rest of his staff for getting their first victory of the year, 27-6 over Sonora. That's always a good time. Coach, comments on that game?
Yeah, I mean, even look at you got 1 carry, 15 yards. You got 4 carries, 19 yards. 1 carry, 33 yards. I mean, everybody had a pretty good average there. Yeah, man, I think that was it's good for that junior novice team to get their first win. A lot of new players there. It feels different when you're a new player. Getting a win. I mean, that's gonna help them out.
Yeah, I mean, Sonora's no slouch either. So after coming off the defeat from Argonaut at home, and then to right away come right back and get a victory on the road, that's gotta do well for just the morale and understand that they're capable of playing at that level. So congrats and great job to those guys. Moving on to the novice team. Man, let's go 2 for 2. Coach Arledge had his guys going 2 weeks in a row. Final score, Calaveras 37, Sonora 0. Is that right? Yeah. 37 or 27?
I can't remember.
Either way, they shut them out. 2 weeks in a row, they got a shutout.
Yeah.
The offense was led by the O-line, Riker Kwashnick, Lucas Mellinger, Charles Lee IV, Landon Beatles, Dakota Howard, Brennan House. Total offense of 258 total yards. Some stats from that game: Brent Fusen had completed 3 passes, I guess, for 15 yards. Levi Lim had 12 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown. He also had a reception for 13 yards and 12 return yards. So congrats, Levi Lim, on the great game there. Sammy Arledge IV, 10 carries for 36 yards. Jax Watson, 6 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. Hayden Trillo, 5 carries for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. The defense pitched another shutout, forcing 3 fumbles and an interception. Leonard Powers had 3 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. Jax Watson had 2 tackles, 1 forced fumble. Hayden Trillo had 1 tackle and then 1 fumble recovery. Bronson Jenkins had 1 tackle and 1 interception. Brent Fuson had 2 tackles. Gino Varney had a tackle for a loss and a forced fumble. Sammy Arledge IV had a tackle. And Stephen McCarter, Maxwell Green, and Trent Hughes each had a fumble recovery. Man, that defense is flying around there. So great job to Coach Arledge and his crew for being victorious 2 weeks in a row. Some comments on that game, Coach?
And team's rolling. They're rolling, man. You know, we don't. I don't get to see a whole bunch of them of that game, but it seemed like the game kind of got out of hand pretty quick and kind of settled down towards the end. But yeah, man, seems like all the backs are contributing. You know, line's doing good. Everybody's, you know, coaches spreading the ball out. You know, who do you stop? You know,
There you go.
that's kind of the ultimate goal with our offense. You know, you can get everybody equal amount of carries or touches, yards, things like that. You know, from a defensive standpoint, it's tough.
Then it's pick your poison.
Yep.
That's great. So congratulations to those guys. Moving on, unfortunately, the JV Junior Redhawks and Varsity Junior Redhawks were unable to play their game. Kind of Mother Nature decided to intervene. There was a fire down in Sonora, and when the novice game had ended, the JV and Varsity game was essentially canceled as they had to evacuate the field. And I believe that since then, I got a daughter that was over there. She said they got control of it. So it sounds like everybody's okay. So that's good news. But unfortunately, the games for the JV team and the varsity team were not able to be played. But I do remember something, Coach, or I should say I remember now. I forgot last week. So I apologize to the coaches of the JV and varsity of the Junior Red Hawk program. Last week, I introduced all the kids. I forgot to introduce the coaches. So I'm going to do that now. So the JV Junior Red Hawk team are coached by assistant coaches Derek Weldon, Jimmy Hill, Steve Mint, Manny Mossa, Rob Mossa, Chris Watson, Chris Long, and our head coach by Vince Montgomery. So I'm sure disappointed for your group as far as not being able to play the game, Coach. But I'm sure also, just like any other week, you got to, hit the reset button, get these guys ready for your next opponent.
Yep, exactly.
So the varsity team, they're coached by assistant coaches Ryan Nunn, Larry Steele, Les Orlandi, Pat Naves, Nick Richards, and then the head coach, Troy Paulson. So good job to all these guys. If you ever go down to watch any of these games, you see these coaches out there, and they put in a lot of work. And let me tell you, it is not easy to get these guys going, and then to get them going in unison where they actually know what the heck they're doing. My hat's off to them because that's some hard work there. So, Coach, any the games as far as the against Sonora were canceled. But now tomorrow, Saturday the 30th, looks like you guys are at Waterford for the Junior Red Hawk program. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so then we got games at 12, 2, 4, and 6. That's your junior novice, JV, and varsity, 12, 2, 4, and 6 down at Waterford. Be sure to head down there and support that young group. At the high school level, last week, the junior varsity high school team, so the JV Redhawks, were victorious over Bradshaw Christian, 14-6. I was there to watch a lot of that game. That was a close, hard-fought football game. I mean, congrats to Coach Jesus Tapia. For a while there, it was 6-0, and Calaveras came back and kind of took the lead and got another score up on them, and then had to really kind of, dig their heels in and play some defense to hold Bradshaw off to come away with the victory. Any comments on that game, Coach?
Yeah, from what I seen, we usually only able to see the first half, but I felt like the players continued to play. Things weren't real great at the beginning. You're not popping off any runs, and sometimes, if you're not breaking any big runs or any big plays, sometimes it's hard to continue on. And I felt like our JV team really fought that game because it all day varsity and JV was just smash mouth. I mean, it was smash mouth football all day long, and yeah, man, I think they just they made a few more plays than Bradshaw Christian came out with a win. That was great.
Yeah, it was great to see them start the season off with a victory and then against a quality opponent as well.
Yeah.
So moving on, the next week the JVs will be at home once again at Frank Meyer Field, 5:00 kickoff. They'll be taking on the Argonaut Mustangs. Let's talk about now. Let's transition to the varsity game.
Yeah.
7 p.m. kickoff. I called it on KVGC radio. I let all the listeners know when we were doing our pregame about 15, 20 minutes prior to kickoff. It was 97 degrees, and I said, but there's good news. At 7 o'clock at kickoff, it'll be like 95. so that was the good news. Not such great news for everybody up in the booth because it was like 105 up in the booth. It felt like it was quite the ordeal.
There's no AC in that old Calaveras.
No,
booth up there,
no,
man.
there's not. But you know what? It's football.
Yep.
Right? Rub some dirt on it.
You know what? It's just usually a couple weeks during the season, and after that, it
It settles
cooler.
down. You're right. So let's talk a little bit about the game, Coach. The final score, unfortunately, for the Varsity Redhawks, they came up just short, 21-20 against Bradshaw Christian, last year's section runner-up team in Division 6. It was an outstanding, very fun and entertaining football game to watch, back and forth between both teams. To give you kind of a rundown of what had happened, Calaveras took the opening drive, and with 6:55 left in the first quarter from 2 yards out, number 7, Enrique Hernandez, barreled into the end zone to give Calaveras a 6-0 lead. The PAT was no good, but they did have the lead 6-0. In the second quarter, with only 1:05 left in the half, number 6, Colin Curran, the quarterback, connected with number 11, Peyton Long, on a 27-yard touchdown pass. Extra point was good, and now Calaveras had a 13-0 lead. And with very little time left to go in halftime, the home crowd was happy. Things were looking good. It was 13-0, but it is football. Things happen, and they happen very fast. Bradshaw took the ensuing kickoff and took it 80 yards for a touchdown, got the 2-point conversion. It was suddenly 13-8. Frank Meyer Field was a little shell-shocked, like what just happened?
Yeah.
Quite an interesting turn of events there, but that's why you play the game. Bradshaw got the ball to start off the second half, came out in the third quarter, went on they went back. It seemed like in the first half, they couldn't move the ball. Calaveras' defense was just so stout, did such a great job. I think Guy Dossie had sent me stats for the first half, and I think Bradshaw had like 7 yards rushing. Like they just could not move the ball. And then that first drive offensively, it started to look like the old Bradshaw Christian, ripping off 3.5 yards at a time, 3.5, and they kind of lull you into this boredom. And then all of a sudden they rip off a long run off of that action. And that's exactly what happened. Number 11, Persarski for Bradshaw Christian, ran a 45-yard touchdown run. The extra point was good. And now Bradshaw had the lead 15-13. So what could have been a 13-0 lead at the half, all of a sudden in the third quarter, they're up 15-13. So quick turn of events. But then Calaveras came back. Number 7, Enrique Hernandez, with 7:24 left in the third quarter, ripped off an 80-yard run around that right edge, took off to the house for a touchdown. Extra point was good. Calaveras regained the lead 20-15. And then with 1:35 left in the third quarter, once again, Persarski struck again with a big, long 78-yard run. Extra point was no good, and Bradshaw had the lead 21-20. Fourth quarter, nobody could score. Both defenses were like, we want to win, we want to win. It went back and forth, and that ended up being your final 21-20. Coach Mossa, comments on the football game?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it a few different ways from our angle. I thought our defense played very well. The how do you say this? Every now and then, right? You start to get tired. Yeah, someone else is going to make that play. I'm okay. I don't have to hustle to it. And it seemed like, when we had a loaf, if you will, it came back to bite us in the butt right away. And, and truth be told, we had a couple. That was it, but that was all it took. You know, you look at the game, you look at the stats, yards. I mean, it's all pretty comparable. It's pretty even. I think the penalties we had were very unnecessary. Kind of stupid penalties, really. We got to get rid of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then two turnovers. I mean, I mean, take those away. I don't know. Is it a different game?
Yeah.
I felt like our team played good enough to win the game in terms of their execution of the game plan, especially defensively. But just a play here and a play there, and next thing you know, you're down, and now we're having to throw the football. Now we're in. We got ourselves in a lot of third and longs, fourth and longs. We had quite a few of them. So we have things to work on. But I felt like the players really played tough. I mean, there's some hitting going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was some big time hitting going on, and our guys weren't backing down. Their guys weren't backing down. I mean, it was it probably would have been a lot funner to watch than to coach. But I'm proud of our guys. I was talking with the coaches about this. Sure, our guys played tough and all that, but I think we're here at Calaveras right now. We're tired of moral victories.
Mm-hmm.
We need to put the W on the scoreboard. Like we got to score more points than them, keep them out of the end zone. Moral victories, we don't care about those anymore.
Right.
We want to put wins. We want to put wins up there. So, that's how we do it. We start at practice. We're gonna kind of tweak a couple things this week at practice and try to eliminate some penalties and see if we can move the ball this week today against Argonaut.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the penalties, and when they happen, they always seem to happen at the most worst possible time too. Because like you just got, it was a third and long. Curran rolls out to his right. He completes the pass at the first down. Then wait a minute, there's a penalty, and it just seemed like every time there was a penalty, it was at the worst time. I mean. It's not like it was first down, we had a little 5-yard penalty, no big deal. It was usually, they just negated this big play we just got and just negated the first down we just got. And, those are drive killers.
Oh,
those are drive. And it seems that like when there's a close ball game like this, those types of mistakes all of a sudden become magnified. They seem even bigger because of how close of the ball game was. So now every little thing could have been that key moment, that key thing that could have changed everything.
I mean, it was 21-20. We missed the first PAT. We had somebody step wrong. One step.
Right.
We get it blocked. I mean, that's football.
That's game of inches, right?
Yes. So, but I have no doubt that the team, they're gonna be ready for tonight. No question. This week was good. They all came to work. Heads were head high. That was the first thing we told them after the game is, you played your ass off. Hold your head up high. We'll fix it. We'll get it fixed, and we'll start coming out with some wins. I mean, that's no doubt they're going to be ready to go tonight.
You bet. So let's go over a few of the stats from the game against Bradshaw. Number 6, Cohen Kern. He was 4 for 12 passing for 65 yards. He did have a touchdown pass and an interception. He also had 3 carries for 13 yards rushing. He looked good, Coach, when he ran up the middle, like when that pocket was about to collapse and he realized there was nothing there. So he just, took off running to get yards. So he looked pretty good there. He's very athletic. Peyton Long had 2 receptions for 41 yards and a receiving touchdown. Enrique Hernandez had 1 receiving catch for 23 yards, and then he carried the ball 12 times for 134 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Cody Paulson had a catch for 1 yard. That was that play that he was leaking out into the flat, and Cohen was just checking down and just trying to get rid of it. And then the Bradshaw defender made a good play on him. But he did carry the ball 7 times for 21 yards rushing. Ellis had 6 carries for 9 yards rushing, and Shahan 1 carry for -2 yards. As far as the team stats, Bradshaw had a total of 205 yards rushing, Calaveras 175 yards. As for in passing, Bradshaw only had 4 passing yards. Calaveras had 65 passing yards. The turnovers, 2 for Calaveras, 0 for Bradshaw. And penalties, Bradshaw had 6 penalties for 40 yards. Calaveras, 6 penalties for 30 yards. Big shout out and thank you to Guy Dossie from the Calaveras Enterprise and the CalaverasEnterprise.com for providing the stats to me. You make my job way easier, buddy. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Any comments around any of those statistics on the game, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, we got to do a better job rushing the football. You know, we knew it was going to be a tough one. We knew they were very, very well coached, especially at the defensive side of the ball. They were very well coached in what they did, and they tackled very well. I'll give them that. Our backs are not the easiest to tackle, and they played very well defensively. So we got to figure out how we can get some movement and how we're going to find some seams. And you know, besides Enrique's run, he had one big long run. You know, that's not a great average for rushing.
Right.
So we got to clean that up. We got to get better at that. Obviously, throwing the football. You know, there's plenty to work on. We know our quarterback can throw it. We have guys that can catch. We have guys that can run routes and get open. We just got to keep working at that as well. And we, you know, 4 for 12. We had some drops. You know, the drops. You know, the guys, we got to stop. We got to catch the football. You know, if we don't have the drops, I do believe he was 8 for 12 without the drops. So that's about where you'd like to be.
Sure.
You know, from high school quarterback.
Yeah,
you'd like
it's
to be
good
right
percentage.
there.
Yeah.
So 4 for 12, not so much.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of wasted plays. That's 8 wasted plays, the way I look at it right there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I mean, you know what? Just small tweaks. Again, we played a good football team. We have to figure out how to beat good football teams.
You bet. So I want to take a quick moment to acknowledge and thank our sponsors for the KVGC radio quarter sponsors, MRM Stone, Harley Davidson of Sacramento, Treats General Store over in San Andreas, and the Paver Company. Coach, I don't know if you've ever seen, if you're out there and you have not gone into Treats in the meat department to go see John in the meat department, and you will get you, I mean, it's one of those old-fashioned butchers, right, where you could just pick out and they'll cut you a big old piece of steak. You got to go see him. It's fantastic. So thanks to John and Treats. I had to throw that extra in there for you steak lovers out there. But let's take a moment to hear from our sponsors. MRM Stone has over 1,000 natural stone selections, fabrication services, and delivery available. Stop on by 2173 Highway 12 in Valley Springs or go to mrmstone.com. Give us a ring at 209-763-5761. MRM Stone, your masonry and landscape stone supplier. Ready to feel the freedom of the open road? Learn to ride at Harley-Davidson of Sacramento. Our riding academy is now open 7 days a week. Whether you're brand new to riding, getting back on the bike after some time away, or just want to sharpen your skills, we've got a course for you. You'll learn everything from mastering the controls to riding the curves with confidence. It's also the perfect gift for a new rider in your life. Sign up today and let us get you rolling. We'll even help you register for an upcoming class when we return to the line. Harley-Davidson of Sacramento, where your journey begins. Treats General Store in San Andreas, California, is a proud sponsor of Calaveras football and the Let's Talk Football with Coach Val podcast. Treats General Store has everything you need from groceries, meat, liquors, and hardware. Treats General Store since 1852. Ready to transform your backyard into an outdoor paradise? Look no further than the Paver Company, specializing in hardscaping, landscaping, outdoor living spaces, turf, decking, and more. They're your one-stop shop for all your yard upgrade needs. Make your yard the envy of the neighborhood. Visit us at thepavercompany.com or call us at 916-222-8844. Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality with the Paver Company. All right, so I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with head varsity football coach at Argonaut High School, Coach John Hickman. Let's listen in and see what he had to say. All right, folks, I'm with head varsity football coach at Argonaut High School, Coach John Hickman. Coach, we've both been around this game long enough to where we've been on both sides of a game like the one you guys had against Sutter. What do you tell your team after a tough game like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can say. They're already going to feel pretty down, especially a lopsided loss like that. But, you focus on the positives, you focus on the fixable aspects of what we can work on the next week, and, control what we can control. And sometimes, you just run into opponents like that where they're an extremely well-coached team, and they were prepared, and they capitalized on every mistake we made. So, we just get back to the drawing board and focus on what we can control.
There you go. So I know you installed the new offense. How's your team getting acclimated to the new fly offense?
Surprisingly, they picked it up pretty fast. I was a little concerned about that. Over at Calaveras, you kind of have the luxury. A lot of these kids have been running that offense since they started walking.
Right.
To introduce that over here, especially even with my coaches, where I'm trying to teach them the fly, and it took them some time to really pick it up, and a lot of hours studying old Calaveras film and studying our playbook, and but the kids have picked it up extremely fast, a lot faster than I thought they would, to where we feel pretty comfortable hitting all the base plays in the fly, and there's still hiccups here and there, and but the timing looks great, and they put in a lot of time and effort to get to the point we're at.
All right. And then now you're going into San Andreas to face Calaveras, who runs the fly. Even though Argonaut and Calaveras are not in the same league anymore, it still kind of feels kind of like a rivalry game. Does that feel like that for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like that for us as coaches. And I mean, most of us have been a part of either staff for the last, 25 years at some point. And this was always a big game back in the early 2000s, and it's a big game now. And they're obviously right across the river. It's really close. A lot of the kids know each other. They're kind of raised the same. The coaches are the same. So it naturally builds up into a rivalry. And but it's a fun one. It's just not a lot of hate back and forth or anything like that. It's just good competition.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. I mean, we get up for games like that, and that's why Manny and I were super excited to keep this game on the schedule, even though we're not in the same league. And hopefully we can keep it going for years to come.
Yeah, I was telling Manny that, it wasn't too long ago you guys were having the 2025 Battle of the Butte football camp right here at your school. And, now going into the game, it's got to be like, hey, that guy beat me at the tug of war. That guy got me in this. I'm going to get him tonight or something, right? So a nice little kind of friendly rivalry in that manner.
Yeah, for sure. And there's going to be guys that really embrace contact that didn't really get that opportunity at that camp with us not being able to do contact camps. And so I think you're going to see some surprises on both sides that, maybe they didn't really show out at camp. But that physicality is going to show up Friday night.
It's going to be go time, that's for sure. So last week, Calaveras had 12 pass attempts versus Bradshaw, and that was like 3 games worth of pass attempts, when you look at last season for them. Are you concerned, or have you prepared differently because of that, or is stopping the run still kind of the primary focus against Calaveras?
Yeah, I think going into every week we predicate stopping the run. I think it's a super important part of any offense. But they do add that element this year where, Kern's throwing the ball really well, and he's moving the well. I like the way he moves in the pocket and getting out of the pocket. Always looking downfield. He's always a threat. And we saw that in film from last week. A lot of them weren't 1, 2, 3 and get rid of the football. It was drawn out or extending plays and finding receivers downfield, that's probably the most dangerous for any defense.
Sure.
You can sit there and, hey, we got 3 seconds, we got to cover these guys, but then you start opening up the field and guys start running around and it's scramble drill. That's a pain.
Yeah, you bet.
We'll be ready to go for it, and hopefully they don't throw the ball too much on us.
All right, finally, Coach, I do the PA announcing for the Calaveras Junior Redhawks, and a couple weeks ago I saw the Junior Mustangs come into San Andreas and win 3 of the 4 games there against them just 2 weeks ago. And the Varsity Youth Mustangs, which, next year or two they'll be up at the high school, they had a quarterback, number 2, I think it was Cortez, and number 44, I think it was Gilliam, that absolutely just dominated that game. I mean, you've got to be feeling pretty good about the future of this program here with the talent you got coming up and what's going on at those lower levels.
Yeah, Bo Gilman down there, the president of AJM, he's done a fantastic job of making sure that the high school program and the lower programs are step in step with each other. And, they've been awesome. They ask what we want to see in their games and what formations and plays. And so they've done a great job of that. And then, instilling the same culture that we instill at the high school. And then, it helps when you've got guys like Cortez and Gilliam that are, obviously they put the work in. Cortez, always see videos of him throwing and going to camps and doing all that. So the kid's about it. And, from top to bottom, there's a lot of great kids and great families, a lot of Argonaut families from the past that are finally starting to come through that, guys my age are having kids and they're coming through the program. So it's cool to see, and it's cool to see that kind of tradition continue.
Nice. Well, Coach, know you got to get your team ready. Wish you the absolute best of luck the rest of this season, and I really appreciate your time. That's Coach John Hickman, head varsity football coach at Argonaut High School. Be sure to get down to Frank Meyer Field. You're going to see a great football game, Argonaut against Calaveras. So you're not going to want to miss it. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, welcome back, folks. This next segment I like to call From Around the League, where we go around and see how everybody performed last week, who they got tonight, and all that good stuff. We start off with Big Valley Christian, who last week was playing Beyer High School. Unfortunately, Beyer was victorious over Big Valley, 39-28. Pretty close ball game there. And then according to Max Preps, I'm going to go off what Max Preps is saying. I don't know if this is, I haven't seen this too often, but Big Valley is scheduled to play Mariposa at home at Big Valley on Thursday, the 28th at 7 p.m. I don't know. I mean, you never know.
I don't know either.
But so Big Valley, they opened up the season 0-1 against Beyer, and now they will play at home against Mariposa. Big congratulations to Bret Hart, Coach Quinn Whittle out there in Angels Camp. They started their season off with a W. Bret Hart defeats Delhi 35-7 tonight. Franklin will come into Angels Camp. Well, Bret Hart again will be at home against Franklin. That kicks off at 7 o'clock. Also, big congrats to another Motherlode team. Linden beats Destiny Christian 15-12. That's a good football team there to have a nice win over them, 15-12. They'll place tonight against Liberty Ranch, another really good football team. So that'll be an interesting game. Linden at Liberty Ranch. That's 7 p.m. tonight. Millennium was on bye last week, but they will open up their season tonight. Millennium will play Gustine over at Tracy High School. That's scheduled for a 7 p.m. kickoff. Riverbank was on bye last week as well, but they will be at home in Riverbank tonight, 7 p.m. kickoff against Richmond. What? So, yep, Richmond. If you guys don't know where that's from, come talk to me. Anyways, Waterford beats River Islands in River Islands opener. Waterford beat them 33-6, and now River Islands will head on the road to face Delhi tonight at 7 p.m. So River Islands will try to recorrect the ship there. Somerville falls to Ripon Christian last week, 35-21. And now Denair will be at Somerville. Somerville will be back home. Denair at Somerville tonight at 7 p.m. And then, of course, your Calaveras Redhawks fell to a Bradshaw Christian team 21-20 in a very good close football game. They lost 21-20. Will be at home again tonight as their crosstown former Motherlode League team Argonaut Mustangs come into town. And so it'll be Argonaut at Frank Meyer Field tonight at 7 o'clock. Other games around the area, Amador last week beat Wheatland 42-14. Now Amador will be at home tonight at 7:30 p.m. Pierce comes into town. So Pierce at Amador tonight at 7:30 p.m. Last week, Argonaut lost to Sutter 56-7. And of course, as I just mentioned, now tonight Argonaut will be at Calaveras. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff. And then Sonora last week went into Oakdale and handled Oakdale 32-14. Sonora will head on the road this week and go at Livingston, and that's a 7 p.m. kickoff. Coach Mossa, as you look through that lineup and motherload teams, non-motherload teams, some comments around some of the games that are around there.
Yeah, Bayer's a bigger school, playing Big Valley Christian, but it looks like they were competitive though. 39-28. Mariposa coming to town. I hear Mariposa is actually pretty good this year, so curious to see what happens there. Good for Coach Whittle over at Bret Hart. Way to get that one. That first one sometimes the toughest one. So good job there. Yeah, Linden over Destiny Christian. I mean, that's a good win. That's a really good win. That's a Destiny Christian's a good program.
Mm-hmm.
And then Linden they turn around and play Liberty Ranch. That's a tough one.
Yeah, two tough opening games. Yeah.
Somerville, Ripon Christian. We have Ripon Christian in 2 weeks, so I'm real curious how good they are. They look like they're ready to go because I know Somerville brought back a lot of players, and I'm sure they're doing pretty good as well. So that's some tough competition there.
Yeah, when I look at this, couple things kind of pop out at me. One of them is Waterford beats River Islands, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now River Islands is going to go to Delhi, and Bret Hart just got done beating Delhi.
Yeah.
So that game might be a barometer of like where's Riverbank going to be at in this motherload league when Bret Hart beats them. What's River Islands going to look like? And that might be a telling game as far as later games with Motherload League facing other Motherload League teams. And like we said last year, Coach Mossa will vouch for this. When the Motherload is playing other teams, we root for the Motherload League team until you're playing us.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
So good luck to those teams. So that'll be an interesting game to me. Well, and then you're right, that Somerville game, that Ripon Christian game, that's going to be interesting because after you guys deal with Argonaut tonight, Ripon Christian's on deck, right?
Yeah. Yep. They usually give us. It's a fight. They've gotten the best of us over the last couple of years. We got the best of them before that, for a few years. So it'd be nice to get back on.
Yeah. Well, I remember last year being over at Ripon Christian, and Calaveras was in the game, but again, it was mistakes and penalties at inopportune times that made the difference. If
I remember right, we had like 13 penalties that game. It was terrible.
Yeah. It was not good.
Yeah.
So any other comments from any of those games around the league?
Yeah, I mean, Amador beating Wheatland, we just played Wheatland last year in the playoffs. So, I mean, not sure how much has changed.
Yeah, it's a big win for them.
It's a good win.
Yeah. I don't know where Pierce is.
Neither do I.
Don't know where they're from. But, of course, Sonora looks like they're still, firing on all cylinders to go down to Oakdale and beat them 32-14. Livingston, I think, is going to have their hands full.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So let's move on to what I call the next level action. Of course, after these young men are done playing high school, the next levels, they usually go on and play college if they have the opportunity to do so. We want to go over some of that action that'll be happening. Delta College will start their season off. Delta is out of Stockton, so they will open up on the road at De Anza College. That's Saturday, August 30th, 1 o'clock kickoff. Delta's coached by Coach Gary Barlow, looking to start off 2025 better. Last year in 2024 didn't have a win, so they're looking to get things turned around there. Modesto Junior College will also start off the season Saturday, August 30th at a 5 p.m. kickoff. I always look at those 1 o'clock college games on Saturdays and go, geez, man, early in the season, we thought we were hot at 7 o'clock at night. How hot is it at 1 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
So, man, that's got to be rough. But anyways, Modesto Junior College, 5 p.m. kickoff on Saturday, August 30th. They will be at home. Laney out of Oakland will be coming in to play MJC. That should be a pretty good football game. If you remember, Coach, not too long ago, if you remember there was that Netflix series that talked about those JC teams that were just like those last chance. Yeah. I think that's what it's called. Last chance U.
Yeah.
And like kids were going down to the junior colleges. Yeah. one of the seasons was on Laney College.
That was the last one, I
Yeah,
think, right?
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So that team will be coming into Modesto. So if you're out there, go check that game out. MJC's coached by Rusty Stivers. They got a good program, a good thing going there. They were 9-3 last year. The last time I read up on them, they had about 4 or 5 players accept D1 scholarships from MJC.
Good.
So not a bad little place to play. If you can't go straight to D1, you go play there, and the D1 teams are looking at that team. So good for them. UC Davis. So the Calaveras Junior Redhawks were not the only one affected by Mother Nature this past week. UC Davis opened up their season in Alabama against Mercer. And I was actually watching this game, Coach, on ESPN, and UC Davis looked really good. They looked really sharp. They were leading the game 23-17 with only 7.5 minutes left in the game. And then the game was stopped and delayed for over an hour and a half because of rain and lightning. They had to get everybody cleared off the field. And then after an hour and a half, there was no let up. It was still coming. And finally, the NCAA came in, or whoever's in charge, and said this game's what they call a no contest. So it's like it never happened. The statistics that happened thus far didn't happen. There is no win, no loss. It's like none of it ever occurred. Forget everything you just saw. And that's a shame because UC Davis was winning the game, and they should be 1-0 right now.
Man, yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, it's one thing not to play it at all. It's another to play. I mean, you're almost done.
Right?
You're almost done.
You're almost done. But
man.
I guess maybe, I mean, you could argue if you're Mercer, like, well, we could have came back and won that at the end, and they're only up 1 score. And I don't know if there's a rule in there that says if you're up by so much with so much time, then they would declare it a win. But in this case, it was too close. They called it a no contest. So UC Davis starts off with a no contest. So we will see how they respond. But I'll tell you what, from the X's and O's standpoint, they looked sharp. They looked really good. So that's good for Coach Tim Plow and all you UC Davis Aggie fans out there. Sac State. Sac State will open up the season at South Dakota State Saturday, August 30th at 4:00 in the afternoon. Sac State is coached by Coach Brennan Marion. They went 3-9 last year. So they'll open up out at South Dakota State. So that'll be an interesting game.
What do you think the weather is in South Dakota right now?
South Dakota, I'd say
Never been there. I know
never been there
about
either.
it.
But the fact that it's south, I would say humid. I'm going to go with humid.
I mean, it's not south like Texas South. It's just south of North Dakota.
So if you're like in Canada and you're in South Canada, you're still in Canada. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm just curious. Is it just as hot as we are here, or you think it's like maybe 80s or 90s?
Well, if I'm going off of my college education in physical geography and draw the line on the equator and tell you exactly, all of that good stuff, I could probably tell you that.
You need to go to college for that.
But no, I Googled it. All right, you got me, Coach. I Googled it. Isn't that what everybody does
know what?
now?
It's just been so hot lately, and we've had it pretty good this summer, honestly. But last week's game was hot.
It was.
I'm just thinking, is there anywhere cooler? I mean, that's a long drive, I guess, but
I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. I'll Google it. Okay, and then lastly, the University of California, Berkeley
Golden Bears.
Golden Bears. They'll open up at Oregon State Saturday, August 30th, 7:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. Be sure to tune in and watch that game. At 7:30 p.m. in Oregon, it's not as hot.
Okay.
That's where it's cooler.
Got it.
7:30 p.m. in Oregon, it will be cooler. And Cal's coached by Justin Wilcox. One of the other things I want to mention, Coach, as we talk about the next level, is we actually have a Calaveras alum that's currently playing at the next level. And I brought him up on Friday night during the radio broadcast. But sometimes, Coach, it was week 1. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties up there, and things were, trying to fix this and fix that. And my cell phone was blowing up with people texting me, and I'm just like, okay, I'm still trying to figure out. I got a football game happening in front of me that I'm calling on the radio here live, so trying to look at text messages and see the down in the distance and where the ball's at, who carried it, and who had the tackle, and do all of that, and be the technical director and audio engineer and all that good stuff. I wanted to make sure that this message got out, and I did bring it up on Friday night, but in case if someone went, I didn't hear that, I want them to hear it on this podcast. So on Friday night, last Friday night, it was Braden Orlandi's birthday. It was his 20th birthday. So big shout out and happy birthday to Braden Orlandi. He is a former Calaveras High School football player. Currently, he is playing for Carroll College up in Helena, Montana. And he is a 6'1", 200-pound defensive back. When you go online and go to the Carroll College athletic website and pull up the 2025 football roster, you'll find number 16, Braden Orlandi, on there. And then if you click on his bio, it'll read this. It'll say in 2024, Braden was named as a first-team Frontier Conference selection. He appeared in 10 games and made 77 total tackles with 3 tackles for a loss and had 1 interception and a fumble recovery. He also had 8 pass breakups. Orlandi was a Motherlode League Offensive Player of the Year at running back and a first-team all-conference safety at Calaveras High School. He was the league MVP for basketball and was a member of the league championship team in 2022. Off the field, Orlandi was named to the all-academic team. He is the son of Les and Nicole Orlandi and has 2 brothers, Kaven and Zayden. He plans to pursue a degree in health sciences. And when you ask Braden why he chose Carroll College, he says, I chose Carroll College because of the great family feel on campus and in the community. I made a great connection with the players and coaches and loved the winning culture in the program. So there's number 16, Braden Orlandi, who will be suiting up once again in 2025 for the Carroll College football team. We wish him the best of luck, and we wish him a nice happy birthday.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Braden. He was a dude, man.
Absolutely,
he was a dude. Yeah, he. I tell you what, at college, playing 10 games in college, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Keeping yourself healthy, and 77 tackled from the DB spot.
Oh yeah. Well, we remember how fast he was.
Oh, he loves to put his nose in there. Love it, man.
He'd come flying up from that safety spot, and sometimes we're like, "Hey, what are you doing way up there? You got other responsibilities." Yeah, I saw this though, Coach.
He's one of the few DBs that you kind of have to tell, like, hey, you're a defensive back. Let's go ahead and play the pass first.
Right.
We're usually, hey, wait, come on, let's go.
Yeah, get your butt up
come
there.
Help out on
come
the run,
help out.
No, he had no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, at Calaveras too, we're a small school, so you tend to have to play a few different spots. And during his tenure at Calaveras, he most certainly did. I mean, he had him in at quarterback, and
he could have played anywhere.
Quarterback, running back, defensive back, wherever you put him, he was going to excel and do well. He was just a phenomenal athlete. So big shout out to the Orlandi family. His little brother Zayden is on the junior Redhawk team, right?
Yep.
Is he on the varsity?
Yeah. Yep. Yes, he is. Yep. And Dad Les helping at the high school JV, and Orlandi's still around.
Excellent, great football family. So congratulations, Braden, to the whole family. Nothing but love from the Calaveras program, and we thank you for everything that you've contributed. So, Coach, let's talk about this week in practice. I would ask you, what does Argonaut run, and what's this game going to look like tonight? But we kind of know what Argonaut runs because we kind of run it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, they transferred to the fly offense this year. I think we're going to see a mirror of ourselves. Coach Hickman knows the fly just as well as anybody, and defensively, it seems like they're in an odd front now and running more of a 50 defense. But that all being said, right, Coach Hickman knows us very well. I would not be surprised to see something different. I would not be surprised to see a different set, different play, kind of out of the norm type stuff. Kind of curious, defensively, the same thing, I would not be surprised if we see a different front or maybe some different blitzes. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? We know each other so well, both, and I don't know. I just wouldn't be surprised. How about that?
Right. You wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to give you hold something to surprise you, right? So, is there anybody that you saw on film that you went, ooh, we better watch out for this guy? Like 11 on Bradshaw, and then I think it was a 22. After a while, you're like, hey, don't kick the ball to him, right? So, like, after a while, you're like, was there anybody like that on Argonaut? You're like, yeah, we better watch out for this guy? Or is it,
well, you know me, I'm not huge on numbers and names. They do have a Z-back that's pretty fast. He looks like he runs pretty tough. He returns kicks as well. They got the dark jerseys this year. Hard to see the numbers on the film, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, again, you know, we're you know, hey, we got to watch that end right there. You know, we know the spots, we know the names of the positions, you know.
Right.
But I think overall, you know, it's Argonauts. You know, they're similar to us in the sense where it's going to take 11. You know, it's not just one guy that's going to win a game for you. It's going to take all 11. So I think for us, every guy's he's got to do his job. You know, every single play without taking a play off. That's his offense and defensive side of the ball. Just got to do your own job and just let everything happen. You know?
Yeah. Do you think it's harder or easier or the same? It doesn't matter. Just kind of a rinse, lather, repeat when you come off saying like they did, coming off a 56-7 defeat and then having to get ready for a team, or like when you've played a real close, tough game and having to come off that game and be ready for it. Do you think it's just the same? Like you just get ready the same, or do you think one can be a little bit more difficult than the other?
Depends on the players.
Yeah.
You know, I think depends on the players and the team you played. You know, I think Sutter is a very good football team, big school, had a lot of guys on the sideline. You know, it just depends on what kind of players he has. You know, are they going to come in, you know, a little pissed off this week? Do they feel embarrassed? You know, or are they feeling down? Are they feeling like they're not good enough? Who knows?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's tough to play. We've had those games. We had one just in the last year.
Right.
You know, where it just felt like no matter what you do, it just nothing's working. You know, so I would imagine they're going to be fired up to play us. You know, Calaveras Argonaut, we know a lot of people over there, a lot of friends. You know, I think the kids, the players, they know other players from each team. You know, and I think it's a good little cross river, you know, rivalry, if you will.
Well, and you had not too long ago in July, there was the 2025 Battle of the Buttes football camp.
Yep.
And you guys were at Argonaut going through the camp. And maybe there's, you know, man, hey, that's the guy that, you know, did this to me and on that day.
Yeah,
or he kicked my butt in that tug of war. Or I'm going to get him this, or like, you know, you never know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, that was a fun camp too. That was a real fun camp. And yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see, you know, it's not camp anymore. It's real football.
There you go.
You know, we got pads on, we got helmets on. Mistakes they're fewer and farther between, you know. I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game. They're coming to us. We get to play another home game, which is nice. Yeah, man, we just you know, got to take care of our job.
There you go.
That's what we've been telling the kids all week.
Everybody come away healthy from the Bradshaw game and coming into this game. Everything injury report looks good.
Oh yeah, everyone's healthy.
Excellent. Yep. Excellent. That's always good news.
Matter of fact, speaking of Ryan Clifton, will be back this week too. So,
oh wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's going to help us out.
Definitely.
Yep.
Another weapon.
Yep.
All right. Well, all right, folks. This week's rant is all about taking advantage of the opportunities that lay before you. Sometimes it's just right there, and you know what you got to do? You got to get you some. Here we go. All right, folks, it is Friday night, August 29th. The Argonaut Mustangs are coming to Frank Meyer Field in San Andreas to take on your Calaveras Redhawks. 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. kickoffs. 2 high-quality, live-action high school football games for one low price. Go get you some! How about the Calaveras Redhawk cheer squad? Both the JV and varsity out there doing their thing. building pyramids, doing acrobatic stuff none of us can do. Calaveras Cheer Squad, get you some. How about the Calaveras High School Marching Band? Rocking the house every Friday night. Coach Val has one request. How about a Zeppelin song? I'm thinking When the Levee Breaks. Calaveras High School Marching Band, get you some. How about the food? Hot dogs, popcorn, candy, soda, baked potatoes, tri-tip sandwiches. Go get you some. How about those junior varsity Redhawks starting the season off with a win? Let's make it 2 in a row, JVs. Get you some. How about the varsity Redhawks defense? This Argonaut team's coming into your house, running your offense. What are you going to do? How about get you some? How about the student section? Making so much noise the opposing offense can't hear the snap. Oh, baby, you gotta love it. Calaveras student body, get you some. Coach Val and Joey Giddy will be on KVGC Radio. Download the KVGC Radio app, click on the oldies buttons, and we'll bring you all the play-by-play live action. Calaveras faithful, go get you some. And finally, all you young athletes that will strap on that helmet tonight. You worked hard all week. Now's the time to do what, you ask? Go get you some. All right, Coach, so we're about out of time here. Any last word for the Calaveras faithful out there?
Hey, man. Show up to the game.
There you go. It's always a fun time. It was a fun time last week. I'm sure it will be this week.
Did you hear the big bell?
You know, I was up in that room. I don't think I did.
No?
No.
Got the big bell out. Coach Brock found the old bell from 1970.
I remember it from the quarterback club dinner, but I mean, I might have been, a little dehydrated up there trying and wasn't paying attention or something. I don't know.
The crowd was loud too.
That's true. The crowd was really loud. So they were all fired up. So
I love all those bells. There's got to be 150 bells out there going on. It's pretty cool.
That's a good time. So you heard it, folks. Get out to Frank Meyer Field tonight. 7 p.m. kickoff, 5 p.m. for the junior varsity team as the Argonaut Mustangs come into San Andreas, Calaveras High School to take on your Calaveras Redhawks in Week 2 action. Calaveras looking to bounce back and get on the winning side of things. I want to thank Coach Manny Mossa for coming in. I know you're a busy guy. I really appreciate you doing this.
Thanks for having me.
And then for all you out there, be sure to let everybody know about the podcast. Join us on Facebook and Instagram. There's a brand new episode every Friday that coincides with the football game. So until next time, we are out. From our left to right, and they're all white uniforms. Here's the kick. Kicks it about the middle of the field. Looks like 19, that's Cody Ferrante. He's going to run up the middle. He's got some room. He's got a couple of blockers, cuts to his left, breaks a couple of tackles, uses his speed. There he goes! Touchdown, Calaveras!
What a great way to start the homecoming game to get the crowd into it immediately.
What a play. The first time he touches the ball, he takes it to the house for 6 points.